Morning, everyone. Morning. Hope everyone's well. Um, a lot's happened over the course of the last sort of 24 hours. Obviously, yesterday's show was quite heated. Um, Good debates, I would say. A lot for and against either Nico Williams or Anthony Gordon. But it's safe to say, Nico Williams has put that debate to bed with a scintillating, may I add, may I speak? Can I speak without the chuckle? Thank you,
I didn't
thank
say
you,
anything.
thank you. With a scintillating performance tonight against the French in another big game, semi-final, I believe, just like he did against Holland in the quarterfinals of the Nation League. And they go to the final now against Portugal, where you expect Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams to be working in tandem like they do, to rip it up again. Absolute great performance by the Spanish. It was a great game in all, And all jokes aside, before we get into the debate, and I think it will be heated again. What a game! Ryan Cherky, what a volley! There were so many great performances. That Spanish attack, I think, Oyarzábal, such
All
an
right, yeah.
underrated footballer, and he's not a number 9, but he does the job for them. And today, I think you've got to have to give Nico Williams his props as well. Him on the left, Yamal, who took a bit of time to get into the game, they're frightening.
Oh, look,
They are the best wingers. They are the best wingers. They are the best wingers, too, plural, in world football right now.
I think Kvaratskhelia and Dembele might have something to say about that, if I'm honest, Avi. But look, in terms of the
Was
game,
Dembele playing today?
huh?
Was Dembele?
I'll be honest with you, Avi, because I was traveling back and I'm back home in Keighley. I missed most of the game. But from what I saw, I watched the goals, I watched bits of it. It looked like an unbelievable game. Look, these two were always going to put up a clinic, and from the going by the first half performance and the goals that I saw, especially from Spain, you've got to give them credit. Look, they're an unbelievable side. They're European champions for a reason. Look, I know we can sugarcoat this as much as we want. We can try and call it a semi-final. It is a glorified friendly. Let's be honest. It is a bit of a glorified friendly. It was they
In
just did the
what
look.
sense?
I'm not Avi. Look,
In what sense is it
Euros,
a
World
glorified
Cup.
friendly?
Yeah, I
In what
think it
sense?
is. I think it's a glorified friendly. Personally, I don't think
There's,
nations
there's
league
actually
is
groups. You have to progress from the group
nations.
stage to get
Nations.
to the
Who
quarterfinals,
cares?
to get to the semis and finals. I'm going to let you
Okay,
speak.
yeah. But Teague, look, I get where you're coming from. It's the end of the day, but let's face it. In terms of what when you look at when you look at international football, you look at Euros, Copa, World Cup. They're probably your three. They're trying to make it because friendlies got so boring, Avi, over the last 10 years because nobody gave a shit about them. They thought they'd bring someone in just to get it going again. And look, fair play. It was a good. The two semi-finals were four of the best probably sides in Europe, and then you get to play each other, so we get to see a decent game of football. But look, I got to give Nico Williams credit. He scored a decent goal on his left foot, and in the day, look, he performed well. Lamine Yamal, our brother, give the guy a lot of credit. He was unbelievable again. But Spain, you've got to give the team a credit, man. They're an unbelievable football side right now.
So you don't think there was any intensity? If you're calling it a glorified friendly, you don't think there
Look,
was
there's
any
intensity,
intensity to win the
but
game for both teams?
does it really matter if you lose? Not really. The thing is, it's not really. It's not something they think. Wow, I have to go. And you say, look forward to. I've got a Nations League
The way this
semi-final
game,
to play. Avi, come on, yeah. It's when you're there. Yes, you try and win it. It is what it is. If
I'm gonna
I'm
be
not, I'm not trying to put a damper on things. I'm just being honest.
just in the comments. Jake said, Jake, it was actually Gene who called it a glorified friendly. You can clip me for yesterday. I don't believe I said it was a glorified friendly. I said we'll see what
I
he does
can't.
with
I
the
can't
French,
remember this one.
and I
If
did
I'm honest.
repeat myself by saying Nico would tear it up.
You did.
I think both teams played as though it was a big game, a big final. The game itself, the 5-4, would grace one of the greatest ever sort of finals, whether it's a World Cup final or Euro final. It was that big. I think both teams went at it. Both coached by great managers. I think you can call De Jong that. De La Fuente, obviously winning the Euros, has established a great Spanish team. Gene, we talk about midfielders, and we'll come back to the wing debate because I know
Yeah.
people a
We're
little bit
gonna.
sick and tired of that. But we'll come to that. Gene, there's a player who just hasn't got enough recognition. Maybe in England, certainly not in America, because we're still catching up with the European game. Pedri, an absolutely marvelous footballer.
Different level, man. He's a different level. He takes the piss when he's on the football pitch. If Barcelona can sort out their defense, this kid. is a special footballer. We saw how special he was, over 4 years ago. We saw what this player was all about. An unbelievable talent. And every time I've seen him, he doesn't disappoint. Yes, he had yesterday there was a year where he couldn't get fit. But boy, since he's come back from injury and he overcome them little niggles that he was getting, this guy has been a joke to watch. We can say it, and we have lauded Vitinha. I've lauded Vitinha so much, especially over the last year, how good of a footballer he is. But this guy is on a different scale, like, and he's been doing it for a number of years now. Whereas Vitinha has probably been this year, where he's probably been his breakout year, where he's shown what a world class footballer he is. Pedri's been showing it since he was 17 years old. Let's face it, he's been doing it. It's just he's been injured. But what a glorious footballer, man. And Barcelona seem to churn out these footballers every so often. And look, I feel sorry for whoever plays against them, because this Spain side is unbelievable. And they're going to go again.
Would you say this team is on level with that 2008 2012 Spanish team?
No, that was a team that took the piss. This side isn't taking the piss. That
Would you say
side,
this? Would you say this team is more direct though?
yes, 100%.
As in, they won't have the ball position. They won't have the 85%
Yeah,
tiki taka football, but they'll be when they need to hit you. They will hit you on the counter. They will use the players, and they haven't got world stars, yet. The number 9 we know gets rotated, or
yeah,
Uyarzábal. I know you've got Lamine and Nico who are on their way. Well, Lamine you would say is a world star already. Pedri, Ruiz. You've got Zubamendi. Pedri you would say is on the cusp of being world class. And then the defense, Normand, and you've got Cucurella, who you wouldn't say is world class. They've got a good goalkeeper. But this team, it just seems as if, Gina, they're not afraid. They play without fear. That Spanish team of 2008, 2012, if they went 1-0 behind, like we saw in the 2014 in Brazil, and they still have the peak of their play. They still have those peak players. They would struggle. But this team, they could concede first, but they've got this resilience to get back. And we saw it in the Euro final. We saw it today. I know they went 5-1 ahead, but they didn't lose their composure. And it could have been 5-5 towards the end, but it wasn't. But they don't lose their composure, this team.
the difference with this side, between that side, is they have one winger, Avi, who is on a different planet, and he's the best player in the world right now in Yamal. They didn't have that type of winger, a direct. Nico Williams is direct. When you've got arguably the best player in the world playing the way he's playing right now, you are gonna. It's a different level. They're playing differently. Whereas if it was probably a Barcelona without Messi back then. Whereas this side, they're not the Barcelona type of football, but they've got the player in Yamal who's that Messi type of player. I'm not saying he's Messi, but Messi type of player who's their main man. And that's the difference, because this is why they're a lot more lethal up front. And this is without a 9. I know that side didn't really have a 9. But I'll be honest with you, Yamal is showing us levels, man, at the age of 17, bro, that I've never seen in any footballer at the age of 17. He's just doing some things every game we watch him. He just puts up, he shocks us every game. And that tells you how good of a footballer he is.
Gina, I just hope that similar with the Pedri, and this was one of my debates yesterday when we were talking about Nico and the age and how he played 84 games last in one singular calendar year. And you weren't interested in that. Pedri played, I think, 86. He went to the Olympics as well, I think, back in 2020 when the Euros was going on. And then he got his ACL. And the one fear factor with Lamal is, and I know Hansi Flick, they rely on him a lot, but they will need at some stage to nurture him slowly. Maybe ping him back at the start of the season to give him a rest, and then bring him back into the fold, the Barcelona 11 fold, from September onwards. So that's the biggest factor for me, is they need to nurture this young kid. We've seen that
They're not going to the Club World Cup, Avi. Barcelona are not the Club World Cup, so he'll get
he'll get his rest. But I think
yes,
they've
he
got.
will get his rest from now, especially till then, because there's nothing happening in the summer. So he will get that rest. But the rest of them, obviously, the other players will more they'll be playing the likes of Chelsea, Man City, Real, Bayern Munich, and the other players. So look, they will obviously, the way Barca do it, they will give him his time. But this is guy, he ain't gonna wait around, man. I don't think this guy's gonna be wanting to rest any games. He's that good. He wants to put up numbers. He wants to be able to show the likes of Mbappe, I'm the man. And that's the simple truth. He's one of them players that will say, bring it on. And he's on a different level, man. He's on a different level.
Just one last thing on that game in particular, Ibu Konate. And,
Avi, I
and
didn't really watch the full game, if I'm honest with you. You probably can speak about him a bit
I,
more.
I thought he struggled today, and I've seen it a few times now without Van Dijk. And I know he's for France, but even at club level, without Van Dijk, I allude back to that Brighton game, the back end of the season. He struggles quite a bit, Gene. And I don't know whether his head's not in it or whether the contractual stuff is going through his mind. But Ibu Konate, he really needs to stamp his authority as a singular defender. As an individual defender, he needs to show with or without the great Virgil van Dijk, with or without William Saliba in this French team, or Upamecano, or whoever else is coming through that French conveyor belt. I am the best French defender. I'm not seeing it right now, Jim, and I'm worried.
I'm not worried. I'll be straight with you, Avi. I'm not one of them that's worried about him. End of the day, international football, like I mentioned, yes, it's a friendly. When he does it, if he makes these type of mistakes in a World Cup or a Euros, then it's I'd understand it. Yeah, this is a standard. End of the season's gone, season's done. We've won the title. You know, they probably want. Yes, they're gonna try. I'm not saying they didn't try. They do try because they're in a semi-final, but it doesn't mean anything. You know, and they'll move on from here. And start of the season, Ibu Konate will be back. He'll be backfiring. But your point about Ibu not anybody without Van Dijk isn't going to be the same. Any defender in world football, but I get the shout that he probably definitely needs to cement himself. As when we look and we see Ibu Konate on that pitch, we think colossal. That's what we want to be able to sit back and say we have our colossal in Ibu, not just Van Dijk. So let's wait and see what happens in the summer. But I'm not worried about him or anything. Nah, man. I don't think the contract talks are gonna anything like that worry him. I'm hoping that that gets sorted in the next, hopefully over the next month and a half before we go into the season, because then you're gonna have shouts about getting rid of him. Why have we not sold him? He's going to be back to that square one issue of running that contract down to the final year like we did with the three players this year, and that's the last thing I want to see.
Um, and I know you didn't watch the game, but and look on Chip and Cheen, especially someone like Chip, myself, I always will go back on myself and apologize, not apologize, but always admit if I'm wrong. Ryan Cherky, Gene, he was on for 25 minutes. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. One of the best cameos I've seen from a player. He was brilliant. If you see his goal,
I
he
saw his goal.
just no backlift, just
It's
boom.
clever, man.
And it was his debut, I believe. His full international debut. Please correct me again if I'm wrong. I think City have got a snip in this player. And, I,
Avi,
and I worry about the obviously his application, his attitude, his work rate. But it does seem in the last year or so he's knitted it all together, and I think this boy could be blockbuster for City.
players like Cherky, Avi, they're at Lyon. If when you know you're going to the likes of Liverpool and Man City, and there's Chache sat already there that have been there, done it, won it all in football. You don't turn up to that training ground and think I'm just gonna sit back and know what's gonna happen. You have to work your socks off. And players like him will go to a City or a Liverpool and think, you know what, mate, I'm gonna have to work my ass off here if I even want to get anywhere near the team. So if a guy's got application issues, you're not going to go to Liverpool and think, I'm still going to carry on with my same application, because you're not going to play, especially if it's a World Cup year. This managers will probably keep you on the bench. There's other players good enough to come in. But as a footballer, from what I've seen, look, I watched him closely in the game against Man United, and his quality, you could tell. This lad is quality on the ball. He's got an unbelievable wand of a foot. The way he strikes the ball is on a different level. Yes, there will be issues about his work rate. Has he got the physicality? Has he got the in terms of pressing? Can he do all of that? Can he carry out the defensive work? But if he's a player that's willing to fight for his position and go to a team like City, when he looks like that, he saw your Romano's tweet that might be close. We'll have to wait and see. But I think he'll sort himself out. I think he'll come there, and whoever gets him has got a player that he's a match winner for you. He can come on and change a game because he's got a wonder of a left foot.
He can, but he will want to be the main man. And this is my biggest issue when we were speaking the other day about a slot meeting him, and you felt that there's possibly doing a dual deal of getting Wirtz and Cherky. And I'm like, this player wants to be that main focal point, and I don't think he'll get that at City. Or he might, City Pep might trust him and say, look, I want you to be that De Bruyne to unlock that last line of defense, and with the through the needle pass, thread of the needle pass. He might be that guy that unlocks teams that play with a low block. But I'm not sure he will get regular game time week in week out for City. Just the way Pep likes more control, and he doesn't. He lacks sort of the legs that maybe
Yeah,
City are, going towards. I think City will have another direction in their play this season. I think Pep has gone away from just the pass and the possession
yeah.
for 90 minutes. I think they'll be more direct, and I think we've seen it with Haaland as well. When they won that treble season in the Champions League, I think a player like Turkey will do well. I'm my only pet peeve with Turkey is he'll want week in week out. He'll want to be that main player. But let's see.
Avi, I think the biggest issue you mentioned, Pep. I think this is one of my biggest thing. Again, the main worry for Turkey is Pep has a habit of turning that type of player into a robot. Can you do that with Turkey? If you turn Turkey into a robot, mate, he ain't doing jack shit for you. Um, and it'll be interesting to see how Pep plays out. I agree with you that he's going to change the way he plays because he can't carry on playing the same way he was playing before because he just simply doesn't have the players, regardless of him signing the Tijani Reinders and Nico Gonzalez, Marmoush, and a few others that he's signing. I don't think you can get back to that level of football with the players that he signed. Of course, Rodri is back. He'll give him a huge miss. But we'll have to wait and see, man. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
We're going to go into that left wing debate,
Yeah.
and it's going to be a little bit more calculated. It'll probably be a little bit of because we were arguing over the phone today anyway about it. Even though when we were setting up the show, I think we got heated again. But I want you to bring up that Alex Levi comment. You've done a poor job so far. You're not concentrating on the comments, but you know that I can't control.
Which one? The Rodrygo one?
Alex Levy, yeah.
The Rodrygo one, yeah?
So there's breaking news that Rodrygo is now likely to leave Real Madrid this summer. The club will demand at least 80 million euros fixed, and the final sale price will likely be around 100 million euros via a Rodra 10_97 via Inaka Angulo. There might be credible sources. Let's talk about this at the moment because I've got the other chart of the left wingers that we may be possibly looking to add in case Diaz goes. I've said and I've vouched for Rodrygo for a while now.
Yeah.
He's a player that was definitely liked when he was at Santos. And he went to Real Madrid alongside Vinicius in the same year, I believe. He's a player that I'll take a chance on. Shoot him out. I couldn't care less for your Anthony Gordon, prem proven. Nico Williams, even. Rodrygo is the one that I would take.
That's a standard. We both have to agree. He's a player that's done in the Champions League year upon year. Has played at Real Madrid, played in a position which I think isn't his favorite position as well, and has done decent. He seems to always get a goal, but there's times where I think he needs to improve. But I think his biggest issue has been that he hasn't been played in his favorite position. He comes on our left hand side, and bro, regardless of it being Nico Williams, Anthony Gordon, Liao, Shao, I'm not really that bothered. I want this lad because this guy is
he would be an automatic starter, wouldn't he?
100%.
Over Gakpo, no qualms.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
And I think that would be a great. I think that's a great deal. I would go up to 80 million euros.
100% you would.
I'll go to Real Madrid and say, name your price, but let's be a bit sensible. But I would take Rodrygo. I think Rodrygo is waiting to explode where the emphasis is on him. At Real Madrid, he's had to deal with Vinicius getting the plaudits. He's had to deal with Jude Bellingham. He's been that sort of nearly man, but just never got his he's never had that breakout season as we talk about, where he's just been the main man. Benzema before him, Cristiano Ronaldo, but he's always turned up at important moments as well. I'll go back to that Man City game.
He's still only 24, and that age we love that age. We've always loved that type of age where we can go in a player ready to go, bring him on so he can take it to the next level. There's some players that I've always felt if that player left Madrid, he would go to another level. We saw that with the likes of, I think, Di Maria left. Oh, sorry, not Di Maria. Arjen Robben left, did well. Ozil left. I know Ozil played well for them, but he left. He came to Arsenal. He had a really, really good few seasons. Some players have to leave Madrid to kick on because they're just filled with that much talent. They're signing. They've got Goulet. They're already signing another player in that position with Mascherano. Yeah. So they just buy so many players that if you're not on top of your game, it's always every few years change. Unless you're like Mbappe, that level. If you're on the brink, then you will always change every 3 or 4 years. Him, you take in a heartbeat.
there's people in the chat saying Rodrygo doesn't move them, or Rodrygo isn't worth the cost, doesn't score enough. Rodrygo at Liverpool will bang numbers. He will do numbers.
I agree with you.
And this is above Nico Williams. This is definitely above Anthony Gordon. Definitely above Luis Diaz and Cody Gakpo. You give Rodrygo that left-sided position, and again, he will float. He will float in between positions as well. He will score goals. He needs a stage where he's highly thought of. He's going to be an important figure at Real Madrid. I don't think he's had that. I think he's been overshadowed by the Viniciuses, by the Judes, and now by the Mbappes. So I think he does deserve, or not deserve. I think he should leave right now to come to like a Liverpool. I think the Arsenal move also makes sense because of Martinelli's indifferent form. I think he makes sense to go to Arsenal. And I think that's a great point by Hamir Singh. Thank you for tuning in. Rodrygo's at the stage where Alexis Sanchez was when he joined Arsenal, and Alexis Sanchez, who was doing well at Barcelona, he was just in and out of the team, but his goal scoring record there was totally fine. Came to Arsenal and he was a different player over the course of 3-4 years, wasn't he? Before
Oh,
he got
he was. He was. He was an unbelievable player, and he just went to United at the right time. And he went there. He effed up, and they effed up. So perfect signing for United at that time.
like you say, when he went to United, Teddy came out. Luis Diaz, Cheen, Luis Diaz.
Yes. Let's get into it, man. I think that everybody in the comments, they're actually dying. Yeah. I mean, there's nearly 500 of them in the house, guys. Now the moment you've probably been waiting for. Yeah. Me and obviously Avi will discuss both the players. But first and foremost, like the channel, like the stream, and definitely subscribe to the channel. Look, we always try to give you one thing with me and Avi. When we come off stream, we always have a laugh and a joke. That's just we are. Nothing is ever taken to heart. I can give him, say, and do whatever I please with him. He needs the same with his. So, like as Uzair goes, rolle peggy, man, rolle peggy.
Luis Diaz today.
Yeah.
And listen, before we forget, can you? I don't want to swear because I know it's Eid tomorrow, so I want to be very respectful. And everyone that's observing prayers tomorrow, Arafat, I believe.
Today was Arafat, tomorrow's the Eid.
Blessings and full wishes, and hope tomorrow is a great day for all the Muslims celebrating. Cheen, can you please put up the super chat because we're gonna forget because I can't control the comments today, and you're just acting, you're just trying to look pretty. What we saw today is what the Champions League should have been. Okay, fair enough. I think that's to do with the Spain-French game.
Yep.
I think there's one more. Vazudev Enazi, thank you for the super chat. Always appreciated. Any chance we get Osimhen? I think he's deal done to Al Hilal. I think so.
No, but there was something that came out that deal might be falling through. Victor Osimhen is having doubts about moving to Al Hilal. Look, everybody knows my thoughts on Victor Osimhen. I would love him to lead the line at Liverpool. I think he would be an unbelievable player. There's a few, at least a couple of issues. We know number one, he's going to the AFCON, and I don't want number two, him and Salah going at the same time. Number two, Avi, we know his application. Sometimes he can be a pain in the ass, and the main one is the man's gonna want stupid wages.
Yeah,
I think, and he's been wanting that stupid wage for a while. I don't believe he passes the dickhead test at Liverpool. So if that's the case and he's not going to pass the dickhead test, it's time for us to, probably not. Although I would love him. Out of all the nines out there, bar the two, Alvarez and Isak, he is the one that I would go all in for. Out of all of them, the assess scores, the flipping.
the age doesn't worry you because on the passport it says 28. But we know there are dodgy papers out in that region of Africa.
No, I'm not going to say anything. All I know is I watch Turkish football. I watch Galatasaray, and that guy has banged this season. And he was banging them in Napoli for 2 years. He won him the title after God knows how many years. So fair play to him.
Luis Diaz today, Gene. I kind of felt sorry for him today. I don't think he got a lot of heat, and he shouldn't have got heat. He was just being truthful today, and I think he put the onus back on the club and clubs that are wanting him. He said, "Look, I'm totally happy and relaxed over the situation. If I have to stay for the rest of my contract for the next 2 years, I'm happy with that. But there is truth that I'm talking to other clubs." How did that come across to you? Was that being too truthful and he didn't have enough sort of PR behind him to nurture him in these interviews? Or did you just think he should have just kept quiet about anything about his future?
I think It was what he did was perfect.
Okay.
From his perspective, it was the perfect thing to say. He wants to stay at Liverpool. He's saying basically saying, look, yeah, there's 2 years left on my contract. I'm 28 years old. If you give me a really, really good deal, I'll happily sign it. We can stay for 3 or 4 years. I love the club. On the other hand, there are other clubs in world football, like Barcelona's, like there's teams in Saudi. Number one, Barcelona, who it has been a dream. His dad's come out and said it previously that want me. If you want to sell me there, you can. Or if the Saudi bid and when the Saudi bid comes, who are going to pay him stupid money, they'll go, he can go there. Fine. I've got no issues with Luis Diaz. Fantastic servant. Given us his all, he will go with his complete blessing. But you ain't leaving, mate, if the money ain't on the table. Tell whoever wants you, go to Barcelona. If they really want you, mate, get them to put 80 bags on the table. If they ain't got the money, F off. We're in complete control. Because we know the Saudi money's coming. Because we know Al Nasser are all in with Luis Diaz. They really want him. We've seen the
I think
fees.
he wants boss. I think he wants boss before he even thinks about Saudi.
Paid. But he wants Barca to say no. He wants Barca to say, but he will respect Liverpool because he'll say, Barca, if you want me, this is Liverpool. This is what they want. Can you give us that? No. Then he'll think about the next thing.
Does he
Whereas
not?
now,
Does he? Okay, then does he not deserve a pay rise though?
I want him to stay. If there's one, I actually want him to stay at the club because of the season he's had. He can play in the false nine because we haven't got a nine. The nine market isn't amazing. There's the Ekatike, Sisco's, Gikores. I would rather have Luis Diaz in that false nine as long as we buy a left winger. Then take it. Right, that is what I ideally want to do. But I think Luis Diaz is at that stage now where he probably wants to leave. He's on what's 55, 60 grand a week. That's simply not enough. Well, it's a lot of money for us, but in the grand scheme of things for footballers, that's still very, very low, especially if it's your final contract. So look, I have no issues with him. I think Liverpool are just playing the game to say, okay, Saudi, it's time for you to come in. You paid 100 million for Bruno. We know where the money, and he's 2 years older than him. We know what the ceiling is right now. So put your money on the table, give him his due, and let's talk. But there's plenty. We've got time because Al Nassr, they're not in the World Cup either, so they don't need to buy in the next week or two. They've got time to buy. So it's one that I think there's legs to that we will probably see the next couple of weeks. If it's Al Nassr, if another club comes in, it's different. But if it's Al Nassr, Avi, then it's going to play out.
I think anything towards 70 million pounds, Gina, we should be accepting it. And
I
that
think
means that we go and get a Rodrygo, a Nico Williams, a Bradley Barcola. Then I'm all for it, to be honest, because those two are still young. And look, it's just hearsay and opinions. I think they do incredible numbers at Liverpool Football Club. So Diaz, who's going to be 29 in January, and we do like that high ceiling price for our left wingers. We bought him for what, 45 million was it from Porto? All in all, that deal was worth about 45 million. If we're making nearly double that, just less than double, 2-3 years down the line, and he's 28, you'd have to snap their fingers off. I do also believe, though, Cheen, that he could up his levels again next season and do better than the 23 GA this season. Because there's very few wingers on that left-hand side that have got the better of him this season, and I include Nico Williams, Anthony Gordon. Your Bradley Barcola had a 21-19 this year, 21 goals, 19 assists this season, which was his real breakout season, but it is the French league. And I know you don't look at other leagues because you want Prem proven. So, Rafinha at the Spanish league did incredible numbers, better numbers than Diaz. But I think Diaz in the top 5 of left wingers whose output was pretty good.
I'm not. Look, Avi, I criticized Diaz for 2.5 years. I cried output
He was
out.
also injured. He was also had that MCL injury as well against Arsenal as well. So
But generally speaking, Avi, that you agreed at the start of last season that Luis Diaz's numbers haven't simply not been good enough. You know that, I know that, everybody knows that. But this season,
the start of last season under Klopp, he had a good start. His dad got kidnapped. What could he do?
Look,
mentally that affects you, doesn't it?
Look, there might be mitigating circumstances in all of this. I get that.
There's legitimate circumstances.
I can understand that. I get it. But still, when Avi, I have to try and see it from a footballing perspective. For Liverpool football, you give them the mitigating circumstances, TK, but still, his numbers were atrocious. Let's face it, they were atrocious.
No, you say his numbers are atrocious because you want to compare him to an anomaly, which was Sadio Mane.
No, I want to.
Mane
Avi,
was an
this is
anomaly.
5 goals.
No,
Avi, five
before,
goals, 5 goal
before,
season.
before Sadio Mane in that left wing position, name me another left winger, whether it be Carlos Tevez at United or Ronaldo when they used to be shifted to the left. I know Tevez was a 9, but he used to be shifted around at United. Which other left winger has done those kind of numbers that Sadio Mane was doing?
I'm not asking for
No, I
Sadio.
want you to name me some.
Avi,
Name
I'm
me some left wingers.
okay. All right, okay. Let me speak. Luis Diaz, when he came to Liverpool, I was not expecting a Sadio Mane. You were not. You thought he was an unbelievable footballer. You raved about him for 2 to 3 years
The first
before.
5 6 months, he was unbelievable.
Avi, let me
The
finish.
only game he let us down was the Champions League final, where he was knackered.
Avi,
He had
let me
played.
finish.
No, 1 minute. Sabar karo. He played 35 games against. Played 35 games for Porto. Comes in January. We've asked him to basically just play the way you want, and his energy levels were superb. The Villarreal game, the Man United game when we eclipsed him 4-0 at home. It was only the Champions League final where his legs were just gone. Carvajal had him, but he couldn't do anything. He was getting doubled up. That was the only game in the first 5 6 months where he just didn't go. He has a good start to the season. The following season, the only player who's showing a bit of fight in this again depleted Liverpool team, because Hendo's legs have gone, Fabinho's legs had gone, Milner was Milner, Oxlade was still Oxlade, and Naby couldn't. But Naby was on the way out, right? So there was no legs in that Liverpool team. They were all done, apart from Salah, who's still doing numbers.
Avi,
His dad gets kidnapped in that season, and then his season falls apart, and then he gets that MCL injury against Arsenal too. So let's not be too harsh, because we're comparing him to Sadio Mane, who's incredible numbers. Sadio Mane is probably the top 3, top 5 Liverpool players of all time. And there you're saying is, oh, he failed this, he did that.
I'm going to be honest with you. It's blatantly honest. In that half season, he got 4 goals, 3 assists. In that full season, when he got injured, he had 4 goals, 2 assists. I'm talking seasons. Not last season, season before, he played 37 games, 8 goals, 5 assists. Last season was his breakout season. These are absolutely dog shit numbers for a Liverpool winger. Avi, look, we have to be honest.
Yeah, he had injuries in this season.
This season, Avi, he's been fantastic. Yes, he had a barren spell, but Avi, what did I say to you just now? I want him to stay. I actually don't want him to leave. But if I'm being honest, these numbers are simply not good enough. They're near before this season, but he's proven it to me this season. He's got 13 league goals, 5 assists. That's 18 GAs. I am happy with that return from him this season. Hence why I am happy for Luis Diaz to continue at Liverpool Football Club. Because if he put up 6-7 goals and 5 assists, he was out the door, mate. I'd be asking for his head. Straight up. I would be asking for his head, regardless of what problem he had, what mitigating circumstances he had. I'm sorry, but you're not good enough to play for Liverpool Football Club. But he's done all right. I'd happily want him to stay for another year. Yes, but he's 28 years old. If a bid comes in for £80 million, and there are other players in world football who I think are good enough to give us that output, I believe Bradley Barcola can give us that output. I believe.
Okay, sorry.
Let me finish now. I believe this, that Bradley Barcola can give us Diaz's output that he's given up. I believe Anthony Gordon can give us the output that Diaz has given us. I believe, even to an extent, probably, Nico Williams.
To an extent.
Because I have to go by his thingy, innit? You've got to look at what's he done goals-wise, assists-wise over the last few years.
Okay.
Let me look. But I'll give you Nico Williams. So this is where I have to say, okay, Bradley Barcola has had a fantastic season this season, but you have to caveat this: it's the French league, and yet still, Andrea Lacazette this season got more goals than he did in the league. Yeah. So look, I want to put that out there. When people come for me saying Barcola, I like Barcola, but it's the French league. He got 14 goals. Diaz got 13 in the Premier League. Yeah, so Diaz got 13 in the Prem and Barcola got 14 in Ligue 1. So we have to caveat things, Avi, at the same time. It's not easy saying, bring on Barcola and Barcola's going to smash it out. No, when somebody's giving you decent numbers, you try and keep him. I'll let you speak now.
Your biggest argument yesterday was Prem proven. So why are you saying Barcola in a piss league? Really, the French league is piss. It is piss because it's always been the biggest. I think Monaco was the last team to win it about 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe Lille at a stretch won it, or Nice maybe won it. But it's been a PSG league. So tell me from yesterday, how have you changed your mind from Gordon to having a Prem proven? I don't know how you can even state that Gordon has had a Prem proven player. But now all of a sudden you're saying you're vying for Bradley Barcola. So you take Barcola. Give me the choice, Barcola or Gordon. Who you take?
Ask me 3 questions in one.
I've asked you one now. Barcola.
You asked me. No. This is what I don't like about you. You asked me 4 questions in one. Let me answer them.
Decency to finish. I gave you the decency to finish. Now you give me the decency to finish. No, don't talk behind me. Don't mum your word. Don't mum your word. That's not good. That's not good. Yeah, we want to show. Let's be professional about it. Anthony Gordon or Bradley Barcola? That's my first question.
Carry on.
No, I'm asking the question. Bradley Barcola. Bradley Barcola, who's playing in the French league, weak pace league, or Anthony Gordon, who's been doing it for a couple of years, breakout season 2 years ago, Prem proven. Who do you want?
Let me speak. Can't speak now. With respect, you've come. This argument is Nico Williams, Anthony. So now you're
no. We're looking at variables today. Let's put that. I'm back today in my hometown. I'm back at home, and I'm in my home leg, and I'm taking you to the house.
You're just mumbling, bro.
No, I'm not mumbling. I am not mumbling. I asked you a question.
You asked me 4 questions. Legitimate question. Let me do that here. Please. Let me do that here. Go. You came to me you asked me 4 questions in the last 30 seconds. I'm going to answer every single one of yours.
I asked you, Gordon or Bacardi, ha or no?
I go back to him, bro. No, Anthony Gordon over Bradley Barcola. That's my answer. Number 1. Number 2, you come to me. No, there you go. I was ready. But all I'm saying is, if you're going to come, please ask me 3 questions. Let me answer. Don't do this to me. This is China, bro. This isn't Avi. This is China. Do not do back away from nobody. Number 1, Anthony Gordon. The issue was not Anthony Gordon. The issue was this. Yesterday, I said Prem proven. When I said Prem proven, the issue was when I said, let me finish. I said Anthony Gordon. You said to me, Anthony Gordon's only this season's been shit. He's only got 5 goals, 5 assists. I said, okay, TK, he hasn't had a good season. But when you start saying to me, Nico Williams had a good season, and I give you Nico Williams' stats,
I never said he had a good season.
You backed him. 1 second. Let me finish. Now see, you backed him saying, "Oh, Nico Williams, he's played 5 games. He's done this. He played this amount of games, this amount of goals. He's done this amount of games in the previous year.
Shanti, now. There's no need to shout.
This amount of games. This amount of games.
It's just me. Let's talk with calmness.
Why are you letting me? Let me. I'm not finished, bro.
Be calm.
I'm not even warmed up.
Be calm.
I'm not even warmed up. I mean, this is a start.
Shanti, it's Eid tomorrow. Shanti, come on. Be nice. Be good.
So that was my issue when you said that. In terms of when I said Prem proven, what I was saying, meaning by that was Anthony Gordon had a breakout season, not last year, the year before that.
2 years ago. Just taking that 2 years ago.
The year before, innit?
Yeah,
not last season, the year before, innit?
Just say 2 years ago.
Fuck's sake. Do I need to write it down for you, Avi? Not last year before. 23-24 breakout season where he put up double figures in goals and assists. Yeah? Double figures in both of them, right? And that is in the Premier League.
12 goals. I'm going to do all competitions. He got 12 goals and 6 assists.
Talk to me about the Premier League. I want you to talk to me about the Premier League.
We compete in 4 competitions. Our players compete in 4 competitions. He got 12 goals and 16 assists, which was an impressive. I'm giving you your dues here. An impressive season for Anthony Gordon. That one breakout season. Yeah, okay. Carry on.
He had a fantastic season. So for me, when somebody does it in the Premier League, that for me proves that, you know what, he's Prem proven. Because he's coming to the when somebody says Prem proven, they don't say Prem proven he's running for 5 years. They say he's in the Prem. He's proved it in the Premier League that he's good enough at the age of 22 at the time, when he was at that time 22, that he broke through and produced the numbers. Carry on.
So that one season in 22-23 where he did very good numbers, Anthony Gordon, for you that's Prem proven, yes?
He did very good numbers, yes. When you do 22 GAs in 34 games, boys. 22 goals and assists in 34 league games that season. If that isn't Prem proven to anybody, I don't know what is.
I like to look.
22 in 34. 22. They're the stats in the Premier League. If that isn't Prem proven, what is? Tell me a guy that's done 24 recently, Bob, the big boys. Give me somebody that's done them numbers and got double assists, goals and assists. Name me one.
Okay, I'm going to talk
Name me one.
I'm going to talk quietly.
Name me
guys.
one. Give me
I'm
one.
going to talk quietly, and I'm going to.
Name me one.
I'm going to debate back to you. No, we're going to have a debate. We're going to have a smart debate. I'm not in the office today.
No.
I can raise my voice. I can
Yes
hoop
or no.
all day long as well.
Yes or no.
I'm going to debate with you eloquently, okay? Because
Okay.
I'm a man of high ranks. Okay, 12 and 16, no problem. Was his goals and assists in all competitions. That gave him 28. Okay. Now someone DM'd me yesterday and said, Abby, I understand the Gordon shout from Cheen. I also understand, and he's a Nico Williams fan, by the way. He said, I totally understand the Nico Williams shout as well. He goes, but if you're gonna do this for your next show, we weren't even actually thinking about doing this today. We were gonna go a little bit off topic and talk about other stuff that's going around world football, but we're back at it again. And there you go. He said, look over the last 3 years of the players' trajectories. Yeah. So give it no. I said, okay. He said, do 3 years. We could go back 4 or 5 because Gordon would have the edge. Gordon would have the edge.
He wouldn't.
Because he was because he's got 2 years on him. No, let me finish now. I let you finish, Cheen.
You did.
You finish. This is not Sarib and Cheen. This is Chip and Cheen.
On.
I have a voice today. I have a voice, so I'll say my piece.
Go on.
So I said, okay, let's do 2-3 years. I said, let's do 3 years. Okay. Now I'm going to say this. I'm going to name 4 players, and I'm going to break down their numbers. I'll start with Luis Diaz. In the last 3 years, okay, last 3 years, and obviously Luis Diaz was missing 6 months of that as well because of his injury and that. But still, in the last 3 years, he's had 35 goals in all competition and 18 assists. He's also 28. Bradley Barcola, in the last 3 years, has registered 32 goals and 38 assists. 22 years old, and he's played in the French league. Anthony Gordon, goals 25 in the last 3 years and 23 assists in the last 3 years. He's also 24. Nico Williams, my favorite left winger. Yeah. In the last 3 seasons, he's registered 28 goals and 29 assists. He is the younger one out of the 3. Barcola, I think he's got a month on him or whatnot. He's also 22. Yeah, so 28, 29 assists, which tells me he's got better stats than Anthony Gordon. I totally respect that you want Prem proven. Doing it in one breakout season for Newcastle does not mean you're Prem proven, in my opinion. The whole of the chat might agree with you and say, no, if he's done it for 1 season, he's a Prem proven player.
No. But listen to me.
No, that's what you said.
Okay, all right.
Those are your words.
Can I speak? Can I speak?
Carry on.
When I say Prem proven, is when somebody's playing in the Prem and has proved it that he's good enough to play in the Prem. All right?
Was his numbers okay? So my next question, and it's a polite question. It's not argument. Okay. Were his numbers last season worthy of Prem proven stats?
Who last season? This season that's just gone. No, he wasn't that great.
So which boat is he in? Is he still Prem proven then?
For me, yes, because he's done it. For me, he's proven to me in the.
Do you not look at consistency?
He can do it. Okay, 1 second.
Do you not look at consistency? Salah, remember when he did 44? When he did 44 goals in a season, he was a one-season wonder. A one-season wonder. Mohamed Salah, the king. A one-season wonder that 2017-18 season. And you're telling me last season's numbers were not good enough for Anthony Gordon, where he registered 9 goals and 7 assists. 9 goals, and 7 assists.
Okay, so you 1 second. So
he got 6 league goals last season. Actually, Anthony Gordon registered 6 league goals, and he is saying to me, he has the audacity to say on this channel and on this show today that he's Prem proven. 6 league goals last season.
Can you, Avi? Nico Williams. 1 second. You come to me with this stat about Nico Williams. Nico Williams in 3 years. No. Now it's dinner time. Sit back down. The king is here. You come to me with Nico Williams' stats over 3 years. Nico Williams in 3 years at Athletic Bilbao has got how many goals in La Liga? Answer the question. I'll tell you. No. You don't need to answer it. 16 league goals in 3 full seasons. 16 against the big teams. Answer how many goals and assists has Nico Williams got over 3 years against the big boys? Talk. I'll tell you, 1 goal, 1 assist against the big sides in La Liga. Bro, you come to me with stats Not good enough. Them stats are diabolical stats. Diabolical stats for whoever you come. Talk to me about Gordon's stats against the Big Six. Galka, I'll give you the numbers. Talk to me, bro. No. I'll give you the numbers. 21 GAs. 21 GAs against the top 6 sides in England. Prem proven. And when I say top scenes, I mean Arsenal's, I mean the Man Cities, I mean the Liverpools. This is when I say this guy's proven in the pen. Bro, 2 GAs. You're coming to me today and saying to me there's a guy in world football who's got 2 GAs playing in La Liga, yeah, after 21 games is good enough. Yara Avi. This is a no Latupatu league, mate. This is the Premier League. Gordon's put up numbers. I gave you them numbers. 22 GAs in 34 games. That is what you call a breakout season. Nico Williams hasn't done anywhere near them numbers. Number one is Nico Williams' breakout season. When was it? Not last season, the year before that. You came to me earlier saying, "Oh, you know what? He's played this amount of games. Oh, he played this amount of games. He's played this amount of minutes. Do you know how many minutes he played? Answer the question. Your issue was he played that amount of games, wasn't it? Answer the question. How many games did he play and how many minutes did he play?
Nico Williams.
Nico Williams. Because that was your argument. He played too much football. He wasn't good enough last season because he played the Euros. He played all the season. He played the copper thingy. How many minutes did he play?
I'm gonna let you finish. You finish. I want you to school me with the facts.
No. I've asked you a question. I've asked you a question.
I don't know, but I do know.
I'm going to tell you the answer.
No, let me finish. Can I finish?
Go on.
May I finish? Without getting heated, it doesn't have to be here, G.
I'm not, Avi. You're the one that was going there. I was calm. If you're gonna go do it, if you're gonna raise,
in Punjabi we say Hansla.
I'm always Hansla. I'm sat back.
So last season, I believe that Atletico Bilbao had won the Copa del Rey. Yeah. And then they went to not this season, the last season. Then they went to the Euros, where he was a brilliant performer. We saw his performances against Georgia, against the final, against England, scored in the final. Big game. No. According to you, big game. You've hit me with stats of saying Gordon has got a 23 GA. Fantastic against the Big Six. Absolutely fantastic. Koi problem nahi hai from my side. No problem at all. Okay, but let's talk about the present. This season, Prem proven, but Nico Williams not in the Premier League. He plays in Spain. He plays in Spain. Can I finish?
Why are you changing the goalpost?
No. Can I finish?
You came to me saying, Cheen, 2 seasons, 3 seasons. Talk to me about them now. Don't come to me. Don't change goalposts.
I'm going to come to my point. It's not about thank you. It's not about thank you.
Don't change the goalposts.
My point is, Cheen, I asked you said to me 23 GA in his whole career at Newcastle, right? That's what you mean, right? 23 GA.
Bro, in one season, 22 GA.
No. Against the top 6.
One season.
No.
22 GAs.
You've not been listening. These are the biggest problem. You've not been listening. We're talking about top 6 teams. You said, what was his GA against the top 6 teams?
Who's?
Anthony Gordon's. It's not Nico, is it? Nico doesn't play in the Premier League, does he? I'm talking about Anthony Gordon.
I'm talking about the league in general.
No. You said his top 6. No, you mentioned the top 6 GA. What was his numbers?
I'll give you some of that season. He's the only player since Jamie Vardy to have a goal and an assist against the top 6. I don't need to give you the numbers. He's the only player in the Premier League history since Jamie Vardy to do that. So that tells you how good he is, by the way, yeah?
You said, and I quote, he's Prem proven. No problem with that. No problem with that. I have no.
This back in.
You have to let me finish, Cheen. You can't lose the argument here. You're losing the argument.
You're going back to the same question. I don't want you to lose your composure. You're boring. You're actually boring the comments, man.
Don't lose your composure, please. Tell me how last season, how many goals did Anthony Gordon score in the league?
I think 6, maybe 6 or 7.
From the left wing, right? From the left wing, yes or no? He wasn't a left back, was he? He was a left wing, yeah?
No, yeah.
And I asked you the question, is that Prem proven numbers? You said it isn't.
Yes.
Case closed.
No.
There's no case. You said you admitted yourself. It's not good enough. You then went back to 23 GA, which he did 2 years ago. But he didn't replicate that form. He didn't. Gina, when we look at players, we look at...
Avi, you're right. Can you not agree that when somebody has
consistency, we look at consistency. I'm not buying Anthony Gordon off the basis of last season. 6 league goals from the left wing position.
So why are you buying Nico Williams on basis of for 3 seasons, 16
Potential.
goals?
Because of
3
his
seasons,
potential,
16
his
goals.
youth, his potential,
You-
his youth. He's got
What
more
has he
take
scored?
on than Anthony Gordon.
He's
He's got
had a-
more flair than
he's had
Anthony
a good
Gordon.
Euros.
He's
He
got
had a good
more
Euros.
influence.
He had a
You
good
have good
Euros.
Euros.
He had a
You're
good
just saying a
Euros.
good Euros. You're not
He
going
had
to
a
go
good
back
Euros.
to the Copa
He
del
had
Rey.
a good Euros.
Atletico
He had done
Bilbao.
jack shit in the La Liga,
Atletico
bro.
Bilbao.
Avi,
Atletico Bilbao.
he's
Atletico
got
Bilbao won the Copa del Rey. You know how influential he was in that tournament.
2 years
Do
against
you
the big
know how
side.
influential he was? Where was Gordon in the League Cup final? Where was Gordon
Avi,
last summer? Where was Gordon
Avi,
last season?
now why losing it for now? You were saying to me, relax.
Where was Anthony Gordon last season in the League
This
Cup
is the
final? He was
problem.
injured, wasn't he?
Look, Nico Williams. Let me speak to you about Nico Williams.
Eddie Howe
Let me-
this season at times favoured Harvey Barnes, who hit, I think he hit better numbers than Anthony Gordon this season. Huh or no?
I don't know. I don't know.
I could tell
I
you
genuinely- I
I
genuinely
could tell
don't.
you yes. Someone
Okay.
in the comments,
I believe you, man. I believe you.
if
I don't
someone in the
believe-
comments want to correct me, did Harvey numbers not hit better numbers than Prem proven Anthony Gordon this season? Harvey
okay.
Barnes overall, with his
Yeah.
time at Leicester City, has far better numbers than your left wing Prem proven Anthony Gordon. If there's
And he
one
has
player that I
better
would take
numbers
right
than
now,
Williams.
I would take Harvey Gordon over Anthony.
Did he have better
Harvey
numbers?
Barnes. Harvey
Did he
Barnes.
have Avi, did Harvey Barnes have better numbers than Nico Williams this season?
Yes, he did.
Shut the fuck up then.
Yes, he did. But
What?
Harvey,
There you go.
Williams-
You're making that as a case against.
Yeah.
Wait. You're making that a case against my
I'm
boy.
making-
When it concerns your boy, you can't say it. So
I
say
made
it.
that a case. I
Wait,
made that.
for you, Avi. Avi. Let me
I
finish.
make
Let me finish.
that
Let me
case.
finish now. I've got, bro,
You're shouting.
no.
You're shouting.
Let me
You're losing
finish
your cool.
now.
You've lost your
Let
cool
me
again. You've
Yeah.
lost your cool again.
Let me finish. Now you bought in Harvey Barnes. Let me speak.
You've lost your cool again.
There you go. 9
I've
goals.
made you lose your cool. I've made you lose your cool.
Harvey Barnes.
I've made you lose your cool. You're getting red. You're going lal batti. You're going lal batti. You're going lal batti.
You're comparing Nico Williams to Anthony Gordon. Yeah, but his numbers are better than.
Do you not see the potential of Nico Williams? Do you not see the potential of
You're
Nico
boring
Williams?
me now.
Do you not see the potential of Nico Williams? Do you not see that he's 2 years younger? 2 years younger. 2 years younger than Anthony Gordon.
Unbelievable potential. I've always said. I have
Yeah,
always.
so for you, who's got more to grow? Who's got more to develop? Anthony Gordon. We'll end it here.
No.
We'll end it here. No, because
I've got a lot to say.
I want to carry on. Who has the higher ceiling? Who is the higher ceiling? Anthony Gordon or Nico Williams? Who has the higher ceiling?
All right. Let me. I'm gonna put you on mute if you don't let me carry on
I've
speaking.
asked you 2 questions. I've asked you 1 question.
No. I'm gonna ask the question.
And the debate will be over. Whether you win or I win, it doesn't matter. I've asked you 1 question.
It's not about winning.
I've asked you
It's
1
not
question.
about winning.
1 question.
Anthony, let me finish. Now, you came up with this debate regarding Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes has put more better numbers than you. I would be absolutely stupid to say that Nico Williams doesn't have a higher ceiling. Yet that does not matter. That does not mean that he's a better footballer right now. Because you know what that is? That is potential. I don't want potential. I want right now. Anthony Gordon, I believe, comes into Liverpool and he bangs. Number one, let me finish. Nico Williams' numbers, bro, in La Liga, Avi, say what you want, have been diabolical, yes or no?
It's been the same as Anthony Gordon this season.
16 goals in his 3 years in La Liga.
If diabolical...
Answer my question. I asked you, 16 goals in 3 years in over 100 appearances, good enough for a left winger in La Liga. Doesn't matter who you play for.
Cheen, you said... Okay.
Avi, answer the question. Is that diabolical, yes or no?
I'm not shouting. You've gone...
You can answer my question. I'm not shouting. Answer the question. You can answer it.
I'm not shouting.
That numbers are diabolical. If you're not going to answer it, I'll answer it. I'll answer it for you. Diabolical numbers. They're diabolical.
I'm going to talk to you.
Diabolical.
I'm going to talk to you.
Two things.
I'm going to talk to you, Grace.
Let me go
I'm going to
now.
talk with you, Grace. If you're going to sign Anthony Gordon off the basis of this season where he's got 6 league goals, and I know Premier League is important to you, Prem proven. If you're going the basis of 6 league goals this season over Nico Williams, who apparently had a diabolical season, according to you, that's fine. If you're going to choose Anthony Gordon now, you've said already that Nico Williams has higher ceiling, but you still prefer Anthony Gordon in this team over Nico Williams. Fair enough.
And I'll tell you why. I'm going to give you my reasons. I'm going to give you why I prefer.
If Anthony Gordon's numbers impress you this season, fair enough.
Anthony Gordon is homegrown. He fits the bill. Anthony Gordon is not going to want 300 grand a week. Nico Williams is right now on 200 grand a week. And he's going to demand more money. You know that, and I know that. Yeah.
Why shouldn't he? He's a world star. He's going to be a world star.
300 grand a week. So Avi's willing to pay somebody 300 grand a week who scored 16 league goals in his whole career in over 100 appearances. If you want to do that, that's up to you. I don't want to do that. I don't want to pay 55, 60 million for a player that's got 16 league goals in 3 or 4 years and pay him 300 grand a week. Don't work for me, bro. Anthony Gordon, for me, Avi, he's proved it that he can do it in the Prem because he did it a year ago. Yes, he didn't have the best of seasons, but I believe at Liverpool, football.
We should talk about the present.
Bangs.
We should always talk about the present.
Bangs.
We should talk about the present, though. Why are you talking about a year ago?
Let's talk about the present.
You're only as good as your last season. But then you're only as good as your last season.
Let's go talk about Nico Williams' last season.
No, I'm not talking about Nico, though.
5 goals, 5 assists.
Why are you changing the subject?
Nico Williams at the start of the season went 23 games in La Liga. 23 games in La Liga, and he had 1 goal.
Your closing argument right now.
Diabolical.
Your closing argument right now was a year ago. Why are we looking a year ago?
Now 23 this season.
7 months ago. 7 months ago. 7 months ago. Maybe 8 months ago.
23 games, 1 goal in the La Liga.
8 months ago, Nico Williams was tearing it up at the world stage. And he's just torn it up today in a big game. Whether it's a glorified friendly for you or me, it doesn't matter. He's winning trophies. He's won the Copa del Rey in a Bilbao team. Bilbao are not a great team. They are a great team, Bilbao.
Listen, Anthony Gordon might not have played in that final, but Newcastle haven't won a trophy for God knows how many years, yeah? He won a trophy with Newcastle. But with respect, they haven't won a trophy for 60 years. Am I going to bring that up? It's a Carabao Cup, bro. To me, look, talk to me about what he's doing in the league against the big teams. What's he done? He hasn't done anything. And you're willing to pay him 300 grand a week.
22 years
That's mental, bro.
He's shown me enough. Listen, I'm going to tell you firsthand. Nico Williams, if he has ambition, unlike his brother Inaki, he will be at a world-class team in the next year, in the next 3-4 months.
I'm not down.
There's no doubt about that. I think right now, and we're talking about ceiling, you admitted that Nico Williams has higher ceiling, but you still want Anthony Gordon on the basis Anthony Gordon off the basis of a year ago. That was your closing argument. But earlier on, you said out of all those 4, whether you wanted Diaz to stay or go, you want Bradley Barcola. What's the closing argument for him then?
I don't look, Avi. But Bradley Barcola.
You said Barcola.
I like. Look, of all the players, look. What you have to understand is, I look at everything. I look at homegrown. I look at what they're gonna want wages wise. This is important to me. It might not be important to you, but for me, it is. It is important. But homegrown. What type of wages are these players gonna want? What the fee? What's the fee? All these things. Is it gettable to go and get this player? Liverpool right now have an issue with homegrown. That's why I believe Anthony Gordon, he ticks every box.
Take that away.
No. Anthony Gordon, homegrown, take 70 to 80 million quid. Okay, take. Not going to want over 300 to 220 homegrown. Liverpool fan, all these things, take. Then you look at numbers. I'm just giving you numbers. Then you look at numbers. Didn't have the best of seasons. Okay, still only 24. He did have a breakout season. It makes sense. His numbers were good then. At this club, would he bang? I believe he bangs. Okay, it's worth it. I look at Nico Williams. He comes to Liverpool right now. Okay, fine. He's 22 years old. Hasn't done it in the Prem. Unbelievable ceiling. Hear me out. Unbelievable ceiling. Hasn't done it. But yes, I'll give you that he did it at the Euros. He had a fantastic Euros. Yeah. But he hasn't lit.
He had a very good previous season. He had a very good previous season where he was instrumental in the Copa del Rey win, which Bilbao haven't won for how many years, people? I think similar to Newcastle when they didn't win the League Cup. They're winning trophies.
Avi, but then I can say, yeah, you know what? We won Newcastle haven't won a trophy. You won a trophy with them.
Just to add, he scored in the final against England. He was also man of the match ahead of Lamine Yamal in the final.
Okay, fine. You had a good game.
One good game in a year.
Good game, isn't it? So I am not denying Euros.
So my dear friend, my brother, we are brothers. Take away the homegrown rule for one. Out of the 4 wingers, I know out of the 3 wingers mentioned, Gordon, Nico, and Bradley Barcola, one that you would just take.
Huh?
One that you would take. Forget the
I
homegrown.
listen,
Forget the
I'll,
homegrown.
I'll be honest with you. Look, for me, I have to look at everything. It's like me saying I want Kvaratskhelia. Why not him?
You said Bradley Bacola earlier on.
Because I believe because he's not on he's on the bench. He's gettable. I believe he's gettable. Kvaratskhelia is not gettable. Dewey is not gettable. There's some players I don't think are gettable. You can't get. So you look at players that I believe who are gettable. These players are gettable. But you mentioned Nico Williams to me, Avi. Right?
I
You
also
mentioned.
mentioned. I also
No,
mentioned.
Avi.
No,
Why
no.
me finish? See, this is the problem. Nico Williams has numbers that are not good enough. Avi. Nico Williams' numbers are not good enough. Yes, agree.
They're numbers where they should be for a 22-year-old. Nothing wrong with that.
Avi, come
Nothing.
on,
Nothing
man.
wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
What the hell, man?
Where his
Guys,
number.
on
Where
GA
where
maybe
Nico.
22 games against the big boys.
So,
14
so let me.
let me finish. 14 games in thing. Yeah. Well, now let's talk about age. Now Valensko, you want to talk about age now?
Let me
He's
close
good
the
enough.
argument. Let me
He's good
close.
enough.
Let
He's
me
winning
close.
the
Let me
Euros.
let me let me
He's
close.
winning at the Euros.
Gene, let me close the argument. Let me close the argument. Yeah, it's only fair. Anthony Gordon, I believe, had 8 goals at the age of 22. Just
Yeah,
for
I'm
context.
talking right
For
now.
context. For context. For
I talk
context.
about right now. We're buying him this season.
Okay,
We're talking about next season. Not
I'm
what's
just,
happening seasons.
I'm just saying. I've been very, and I'm very rarely wrong when it comes to unearthing young gems. You know
Oh,
it. You know it.
is
You
that
know
your new
it.
talent? Is that your new talent?
Lamine Yamal
Have
at
you given up
22.
on the old one? Have you
Lamine
given up on the
Yamal.
old one?
Lamine Yamal. Look, for me, I'm not going to back away, Gene. For me, the number one target should be Nico Williams. I have raved about him since he was doing 0 numbers 2-3
You
years
rave about a
ago.
lot of players, Avi.
Two,
You rave
three,
about
two,
a lot. Avi,
two,
you rave about a lot of players.
Can I finish? Can I
Well,
finish?
I'm just
2-3 years ago. I am not wishy-washy saying Bradley Barcola's numbers or Falana's numbers or Ben Seguir's numbers or Agli Loche's numbers from Monaco. I want Nico Williams. Your closing argument is that you would, if the homegrown rule didn't take place, you would want Bradley Barcola. You would want Bradley Barcola.
No. I've always look, Avi. I'll be straight with you. Nico Williams is a fantastic footballer, yeah, but his numbers are shit. His numbers are shit. They don't make sense to be going and giving somebody 300 grand a week to somebody who's got 14 league goals in 3.5 seasons in over 100 games for Bilbao. Right? And who are the fourth best team in thingy against the big side? You can talk to me about doing it for Spain and all that type of stuff. I look at him against the big sides in his league. I see one GA in 21 games, boys. 21 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. That for me, and I think 300 grand a week, you're not good enough, mate. You're not good enough to deserve any of that type of money for 1 goal and 1 G against the big sides in Spain. Whereas when I look at when against the big sides in Spain, but when I look at Anthony Gordon, I look at him and I think, you know what? Scores against decent numbers against the big sides. Even this season, I think he produced in the big games. This season,
3 goals in 10
Man
games.
City. Who they were against, Avi? Man City.
3 goals.
Goals and assists with Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Aston Villa,
Yeah, 3 goals, 1
Tottenham,
assist. No.
United,
Tottenham are not.
United.
Tottenham are not.
Avi, let me finish.
United haven't been top 6 for 3 years.
Avi,
Why are you saying top 6? United haven't been top 6 for the last 2-3 years.
City not the champions. Well, they were the champions before Liverpool. City, Arsenal, Liverpool. What are they? Top 3 teams, yeah? He did it. Avi, goals and assists in all 3. Yeah. Then you got Villa, right? The only top 6 side this season he didn't do it against. Obviously, they're the 5th side is Chelsea. So he produced in them games. When I look at Nico Williams, I see goals against Almeria. I see goals against Almeria, Valladolid, who are fighting in thingy. I don't see no goals against the Sevillas of this world. I don't see goals against
He's scoring in finals. He's scoring and playing as the world's best. He's scoring against France.
I didn't see
He's scoring when it really matters.
friendlies. I don't see the goals against Real Madrid. I don't see the goals with Barcelona's. I see this. I think, okay, TK, you know what? 300 grand a week. You want to pay the 300 grand a week? I don't. It's not worth the money.
What we'll do is we'll be on Scout Watch this season. I really want you to watch Nico Williams. I don't feel you've watched him enough.
I mean, I saw him.
Bilbao. I think you might watch a glimpse of him today, and you would have said.
I watched him against Man United.
You would have watched. No, he had a groin. He wasn't playing the second leg. He had a groin injury in the second leg.
Okay,
he wasn't available.
Okay, first, I didn't do much.
I want you to really watch him this season.
I will.
because you will say this, yeah, Shuti with the Anthony Gordon. Anyway,
I
let's
don't know.
can we kindly move on?
You know what? I've noticed. I found it boring.
No, it wasn't
You
boring.
bored me today, man.
I
Yeah, I
came
was
with facts.
expecting.
I
I was
came with
expecting
facts.
more from you today. You
I
got
came with
you
facts.
talking about the same thing, man.
I came with facts. I didn't raise my
You didn't.
voice.
I mean,
I was
look,
in a
you can't
courtroom. I
expect
was in a
me.
courtroom. I was in a deposition,
No,
and I was
you can't.
acting how I should act.
You can't.
Normal.
Look,
Thank you,
I
selection.
accepted.
I think selection's
Look,
right.
I
Cheen hasn't
accepted.
watched him. It's obvious. I
I
think it's
watched
right.
it. I watched him 23 times this season and knew anything
It's
about the
only
game.
the only time Chino watches him
I
is when
mean,
he either
listen,
scores or assists. France tonight, England in the final yesterday. Chucko chuck, chicka
I
chicka. That's what it is.
I spoiled Spain, Avi. You know that I spoiled Spain in the Euros. You actually did I not spoil Spain in the
And
Euros
you,
with you?
you still have the audacity to say Andy Gordon, who had 1 minute in the
You know
Euros
one
last
thing.
summer,
One can I
1
just
minute. No, don't say Southgate tax. Don't say
Southgate was
Carrick
there.
tax.
But
He
Southgate was there,
played
Rafi.
1 minute. He played 1
Everybody
minute.
in if in the look we're talking fairly now, yeah. In that Euros, Avi, Kasam, Southgate's one of Southgate's biggest issue is he had his favourites. He would have Anthony Gordon had to be starting in them games. I think he started in one game, meaningless game. And look, he never used to Trent. We were giving Southgate a load of shit because of not starting Trent at times. But you look, that's his thingy. He's gone. We'll see Avi in terms of Gordon. I think we're gonna go in for him. I still believe Liverpool are gonna go in for Anthony Gordon. I think there's a there's some happening where if Diaz is sold, Liverpool will go and sign him. But Avi, you can't. One thing you have to admit before we go though, yeah,
We're not going
his
anywhere.
numbers are not good enough. You can't give me his. I
Yeah,
mean, his numbers for a player of
I'll
his.
say it again, and you can burst out laughing. Nico Williams is where he is at 22. That's totally fine. This season, though, if he stays at Bilbao, and these my biggest look, my biggest peeve with Nico Williams is I hope his trajectory isn't like his brother's. His brother should have moved away from Spain at 24, 25. He was making big money moves. He didn't. Inaki wanted to stay in the Basque region, and there's a story behind that because they came via boat. His mom was pregnant, I think, with Inaki Williams, who's the older brother. So they have a very strong affiliation with Bilbao. Nico Williams has to improve his numbers this season. I will tell you that. But don't tell me that Gordon is prem proven off the basis of one season. That doesn't make sense either to me, in my opinion. In my opinion, and that's all they are. That's
Okay.
all they are. They are.
Well, you know what? And I gave you my reasoning of what I meant by Prem improvement. For me, Prem improvement isn't he's come to the Prem over 4 years. Bro, if you do it in the Premier League for 4 years, you're not just Prem proven, bro. You're more than that. If somebody put up Gordon numbers that he did that year, if everyone did it for 4 years, you'd be talking one of the best players in the league. That's if Gordon did them numbers in that season, this season, we'd be calling him one of the best players in the league. There's no doubt about that because them numbers are worthy of calling somebody one of the best players in the league.
But then you
That was what I was trying to say to you is what Gordon did that year was
my,
you can't just knock that under the thingy. 22 GAs in 34 is crazy numbers, bro.
they were very good numbers. I'm not doubting that numbers. You know, those numbers were still not better than Luis Diaz's numbers this season. 13, 17, and 8.
They were better. They were better. They were better. 22, 22
in the league.
over 17, 18. They're better than Diaz's numbers.
But this season, his
Yeah, Avi, look.
he's probably been similar to Marcus Rashford's. If that's proven to you,
Okay, two more things, Avi. Avi, you mentioned you spoke about.
Sorry, did Marco Asensio came in January? Did he have better GA than Anthony Gordon in the league this season?
He had more than Nico Williams as well.
Please remind me. No, Marco Asensio. Did he have better numbers than Anthony Gordon in the Premier League? Nico Williams hasn't played in the Premier League. He hasn't played in the Premier League. Marco Asensio, Angie, Gracias, Pujo.
Avi.
The law, mate. The law.
Hey, now you're just doing, Avi. You're just trying your best now.
This ain't the PSL. These are IPL. These are your playing. You're playing the IPL, brother. You're playing the IPL.
Because I did that to India yesterday. Now you're hating. Why are you hating now? Just relax. On a serious note.
Serious note. Let's move on.
I'm gonna finish off.
Florian words.
Go on, Bob, Florian words.
Florian words.
I mean, on a serious note, because I'm not lying. The thingy regarding thingy, what's his name? That's bullshit. Because if I look at, I can bring up fucking Ayugo Aspas, this first thing stats up, who's a 38-year-old Liverpool failure. He's got more goals and assists than what's his name? Yeah, nice now. Than Nico Williams. So come on, they were talking Ayugo Aspas. You can say that there's other players that will put up numbers. You can't bring that up and say mate
Experience counts, brother. Experience. Aspas is a seasoned pro. Nico
Eh?
Williams is not a seasoned pro yet. He's not a
Nico
seasoned.
Williams is nowhere near pro.
Okay, anyone
Nico
who's been
Williams,
watching, I truly apologize today. We did get over carried on, but that is the end of the debate. If Gino won, Gino won.
no, no, no.
My won.
Have you always been?
Whoever
Have you
won.
always?
Whoever won, Shruti. There is no winners. There is no winners in war. Like I said, there's no winners in war. Gina, a lot of people are starting to feel a little bit, this Florian Wirtz deal, a bit nervous and whatnot. It's just parliamentary procedure, isn't it, over the next few days?
I'll be honest with you, Avi. I don't know why people are that worried. I think it's a done deal. It's just we're just waiting to see. Obviously, that game's done. We're waiting for it to finish. He'll sign his contract. We'll move on. They will agree a fee, man. Yeah, it's just standard stuff that you have to go through for any type of big signing. You're talking 120 million euros per 120 million pounds. We're talking. That's a lot of money, man.
Do you think the upfront fee could be there could be a bit of a standoff there?
I think it's the add-ons. I don't think it's the fee. I think the biggest standoff right now is add-ons. They're wanting probably easier add-ons where they're probably saying Champions League quality. We're saying we might be putting in a 5 million Ballon d'Or clause, but they're probably saying their hardest one is probably Champions League semi-final. I don't know, stuff like that that makes it make sense. But it will get done. I'm not worried at all, man. I don't think. Why should we be worried? Yeah, we heard news about Kirkes today, Florian Wirtz today, where Liverpool mean business this summer, man. We mean real business, and we will get whatever we want. No issues with that.
My one of my questions to you was today, and I know we've all talked about incomings and strikers, and we're not going to talk about number nines. I think that we've exhausted that conversation with who we want as a number nine if Isaac Ekitike doesn't happen. I know yesterday a name was mentioned, Stasisium. Me and Gina will be doing our research on him. I did want to touch upon him today. I know he's done well at Saint Etienne, but I think we need to do a bit more research before we talk about him like factually and what we think and how he would fit into the system. Gina, and Lennon Miller. Thank you for tuning in today as well, Lennon Miller. I'm telling you guys, you laugh, but there could be some news happening in the next sort of 2 weeks. Gina, departures. Name me the three you think will go after we brought in Frimpong, Kirkes, and Wirtz. I think we will close shop in terms of incomings for that precise moment and work on a few departures. Your three departures that you think will happen first.
ASAP Darwin Nunes. I think Darwin is off. That will be one of the probably the first ones that I think leaves the football club. Number two,
Okay,
obviously,
and where do you think he's going then? Because Gina, I know it's easy to say, well, the Saudis' money is this and Saudi money is there. But Gina, he's 25. Will he fancy that move straight away?
He's off to Saudi. They want him that badly that he will go. Even if it meant him going for a couple of years, Avi, I think he's off. I think he mentioned Saudi in that interview that we saw a few months ago when he was with Diaz. I think he sort of knows that he's going there. He's accepted it. He's gonna go and get the bag. Go and do what you need to do, mate. That I think will be number one. I think Harvey Elliott is going to be close. I think one of the other you will see news coming out about him leaving, and then it's going to be an interesting one with what happens with Quansah. Because if Leverkusen want Quansah and he's open to going, I think that will materialize pretty quickly because Wirtz will happen. We were always going to do the deal separately because of PSR. We would then sell him. He was never going to be actually part of the deal. We have to sell him to cover ourselves, to give us even more leeway when it concerns PSR. So I think that's why them three for me are the three that will probably leave. The first three. I think we're relaxed with Diaz, Avi. We're in a good position.
Darwin, Quansah,
And Elliot.
Okay. I did receive some information yesterday night after the show. It was probably going to be today early morning UK time. Harvey Elliott has spoken to 2 Premier League clubs already.
There you go.
And I believe the player and his father, who's heavily involved in his sort of involvement and his development and his career, wants the player to stay in the Premier League. But they have been told politely to look for another club for another club.
Look,
I think, Gene, we will do a deal for around 30 million for him. I know people are saying 40, 42, 45. I think 30.
We're going to want 40 million.
I don't think we'll get that.
You watch. Liverpool got 28 million for, what's his name? Brewster. Bro, this is Michael Edwards. This is not the two going to the table, mate. The 30 comes out when they see Edwards. because they know he's so shrewd when it concerns everything. He will go there and make it work. We get our money. 10 million for Trent Yard from Real Madrid. This guy will get his door. He will go there and get his money. I think 40 million is the minimum, Avi. You'll be shell shocked of what we're
How
going to
much?
get.
How much did Fabio Cavalli go for? 20? Was it 20 million?
25, 28 million or something. It was more than
No,
that.
it wasn't 28 million.
It was something weird like that, 25 plus.
35, 30 max. But there's some shouts for 40 million, 100%. He just sold Kelleher. Kelleher, we kind of got shortchanged there. You know, I know we had a year left, but 12.5 million. I know it's rising up to.
7.5 million we got for Carvalho, bro. We're gonna get our money. Are we the English, man? If we're gonna pay, if we're willing to pay, okay, I know you've got English tax for Anthony Gordon. You think we're not gonna get English tax? These teams are not gonna play English tax. These guys have proven they played for Liverpool for a few years. They played in the Premier League, are the champions. We will get our door. We are gonna get our money. And Uzair mentions Brighton. Brighton must be one of them because I heard Brighton won him.
Brighton is one of the
I think
clubs.
Wolves, maybe you think it's Wolves and Brighton are the two clubs. Obviously, they've sold Cunha. They've got a bit of dough. Them two clubs will probably want him. But I think we're gonna go for the door. We're gonna make sure that we take the full 40 off him.
Other bit of news, Gina Chiesa, a loan bid has been rebuffed from Liverpool from Milan. The offer came in from AC Milan. We are prepared to do a deal for around 10 to 12 million. For what we paid for him, we want to recoup that as well. That's an experiment gone wrong, you could say. Whether that was a rushed signing or a risk signing, an opportunistic signing, but it does feel as if the curtains
Yeah,
are
look.
closing.
If he goes, Darwin goes. We can. There's question marks on Jota, who I would
I've
sell.
got a feeling Jota stays now, and I was a big advocate of him leaving. I think he may just stay now as
If
that
Diaz,
fifth.
if Diaz stays, you wouldn't sell him.
Huh?
If Diaz stays, you wouldn't sell him.
I would sell him, but who would we sell him to?
Whoever wants him.
No, but you say whoever wants him. Who is out there who would want him?
I
Arsenal?
don't
Arsenal
know.
want a coach like that?
There'll be teams, but Avi, don't tell me they're not going to be a queue for Diego Jota, bro. Of course, there's going to be teams flipping wanting Diego.
Yeah, people do their research on his fucking medical background too. It's not
People
can he?
get money for him. He's still a flipping Portuguese international. He doesn't think maybe they think, you know what, it's the way the Liverpool have played over the last years and the Klopp era, all that type of stuff. I think that, somebody Muju mentioned stop Stas as the Jota replacement. I can see something like that happening.
Can you bring the comments up? You've done
Sorry.
nothing today apart from just arguing, shouting around. Stassison. We need more information about Stassison, the
Right?
French.
No, on a serious note, I would get rid. I would get rid. If Diaz stays, I would get rid. And you know what I'd do? I'd sign a 9, obviously, because Darwin's going. I'd sign a winger.
Cheen, would you get? There's another comment from Kirat Dadrak saying, "Give Elliot to Dortmund and get Karim Adeyemi." Would you take a chance on him? He's still 21, 22. Karim Adeyemi. He's been around for a while. He hasn't burst. He hasn't developed as people thought he would have.
We wanted him a few years ago.
He's a Salzburg.
He's a weird one. He had a ceiling, which again, 2-3 years ago when he went there.
Selection. You've said yes. Why would you want Karim Adeyemi? And give me some proper facts. Don't give me some gibberish.
Karim Adeyemi is stagnated, man. If anything, he has a couple of good games in the Champions League where he goes on a run, but he hasn't really done it. He's a speed merchant, and that's about it. And product.
Injury history, Nathan Quinn. Thank you for
saying. I'm going to do the super chats here because I've not done them. Right. And here we go. Muhammad Kibriya, Al Hilal, Al Habibi. Who cares? Give us the money. Exactly. Just get the money off them. And big up to Ali. Sorry, Kibriya. Ali goes. Diaz, Nunes start learning Arabic, brothers. I think both of them leave. I think both of them are off there. And
Monkey D Ben. Hold on. Monkey D Ben said Adeyemi has had injuries that's inhibited his development. He's been great this season, though. Define his great season. How many goals has he got in all comps? Gone.
I don't know what he's got.
I've asked someone to do it for us.
Okay. Look, and the thing you mentioned, sorry, the last super chat, he said basically, Glenn Gates, thank you very much for your super chat. He goes, can we stop talking about the left wingers? We've moved on, mate. So apologies that we didn't read it when we were going at each other, but they're the super chats. Adeyemi, Abi, what is his numbers? I don't think, man, he's...
Kira, I
I
know
didn't
we
know
know he
him.
was watched at, we did
Yes,
actually
he did.
on the day trip was funny enough, Gina, when he was 17, 18, we did a huge show on Karim Adeyemi at Salzburg because we thought he's going to be the next Mbappe, the German version of the Mbappe.
He did have the talent, man.
I have a actual small bomber. Again, it's not going to be one of those that people are going to get excited about, but hot on his trail. He's had some contractual issues at Dortmund. Cole Campbell, Gene. Keep an
I've,
eye out for this. He's a forward. He's got so much potential. There was another kid as well at Dortmund, Paris Brunner, who's gone to Club Brugge now. But Cole Campbell, if anyone's in the chat knows more about him, he's a name that's on Liverpool's scouting lips. So keep an eye out on Cole Campbell. Eddie Yami has 12 goals and 9 assists in 221 minutes.
I think that
Eddie
includes
Yami.
the Champions League as well. So that's not, to be fair to him, they're not that bad, man.
Uh,
Um,
SW coming in, Gordon all day, more potential in my opinion over Nico. Also scouts and would not want to leave when Madrid and Barca come calling. That's a fair point. I can't agree. I can't disagree with that.
what did you make of that word, Made? Would you take him?
I don't think we're looking at these big 6'3", 6'6". That's why the Benjamin Sesko talk, it doesn't impress me at all. I don't think we're looking for that. I know Isaac's tall, but Isaac's got that dynamism about him. Sesko, I need to watch more of. I don't think Sesko could be a consistent bagsman in the Premier League. I think he's 15 to 20 a season, even for an Arsenal or a Liverpool. I want Isaac ice cold, and I think we will ruffle a few feathers later down the transfer window. I think Newcastle are seriously in for Ekatike too. I really
If they
think
get Ekitike, then we combine, but I just can't see them flipping. They're gonna want to. The only way we do that is if we sell Jota and we sell Darwin, and then you get him. It's the only way you are gonna do it is if you sell both and you get top dollar for both, and both of them go to Saudi at the same time. It's the only way you get him where you say, okay, here's 140 million, then
to
come and talk.
Tuwati Mehdi, we should consider Jonathan Bergtad for the striker position. He's been around for quite a while as well. In a few years, he looks a skillful player. There was links that he was a little bit likened to Kevin De Bruyne, but I think he's come more centrally now in a forward position. He's been around for 3-4 years as well. There are a few German links there, Gina. Cole Campbell, but keep an eye out on Cole Campbell. He's another one. Jonathan David, Gene, from Vanch Bajaj, came from me yesterday, that guy, by the way. David, agent fees and salary high. He's scoring goals in the French league. His numbers are probably more impressive than your Bradley Bacola.
Probably, yeah. He's been doing in the French league for 5 years.
5-6 years.
Yeah, his numbers
Scores
are
a fair few penalties though, doesn't he?
Yeah, but look, his numbers on a free transfer. When you take everything in consideration, free transfer. If he's your fifth choice striker for a Chiesa replacement, definitely. So them what I'm trying to say is a forward line replacement. You can sort of accept, but anything, nah.
Do you think you'll still look at a midfielder though?
Yes. If we don't buy a 9, I think we all go in all in Wharton, man. I think we're gonna go and get him. We're gonna pay the door. We're linked to Wharton. Liverpool like Wharton.
70
They
million?
wanted him. Huh?
70 million?
He's worth it all day long.
Prem proven?
I love Adam Wharton. Prem proven.
Proven?
Kit takes that homegrown. The perfect buy, are we? There's a bit of tax on that though.
Monkey D Ben, my top player to replace Kaiser Elliott as Mo understudy is Magnus Aguiluche from Monaco. He's a huge talent. I need to watch more of him. I need to watch more of that. We have had scouts go to Monaco this season, and I thought it was Lamine Camara, but it could be Ben Seguir and Magnus Aguiluche. I like Ben Seguir. Gina, anything else for today?
I think I'm good, Avi.
The flow was good though. I enjoyed the flow today.
And we weren't that bad. To be fair, it's better than the two of us. If Asim we would have gone each other more.
Asim said, I'm staying out.
Yeah, and then we would come in when it's not the right time.
Are we going tomorrow?
No.
Are we going tomorrow?
Eid Mubarak, man. Eid Mubarak. I ain't going tomorrow. Unless Florian Wirtz signs, I will do a reaction. If we don't sign, I ain't going tomorrow. You can go on if you want.
Tomorrow? No.
Allah.
I'll celebrate a bit of Eid Mubarak tomorrow as well. With a bit of Lamb Nahari as well. But guys, this has been Chip and Cheen. It's been ages since we've been back. We worked well in tandem again.
Yeah, Chip and Cheen in it. Goes Chip and Cheen in it.
In tandem, Chip and Cheen. Guys, we will be back probably most likely on Sunday. The boys have Eid. They'll be observing and celebrating and eating good food tomorrow. And I believe Saturday you lot are still out. Is that right, Cheen?
Maybe Saturday back, Saturday evening. That we
Saturday.
might do one Saturday evening, but I don't. We're not. I don't think I can't be, but Asim might be on
TK. And then we will be back on Sunday for sure,
Sunday or videos. Yeah.
hoping for some concrete news now about Kirkis at least. And then Florian Wirtz, like we've been told by Kicker, probably next week. But guys, make sure you've liked and subscribed if you haven't. We are on our way to 15K. 20K is the target by the end of the season, end of the summer, I mean. So please like and subscribe and share. And we shall see you on Sunday. You're going to have to close the stream. See you later,
Thank you
guys.
very much. Eid Mubarak, everyone.